following Gervonta "Tank" Davis's most recent bout against Lamont Roach Jr., which finished in a majority draw that had fighters, fans, and commentators all wondering how it would turn out. The boxing world has been a flurry of discussion and conjecture. Tensions in Davis's personal and business connections, especially with his old coach Adrien Broner and promotional leader Floyd Mayweather, have been highlighted by the hoopla preceding the fight. The story moves through Davis's quick ascent, his broken relationships, and the persistent skepticism about his capacity to compete against elite opponents as the dust settles. A product of the rough streets of Baltimore, Davis made a spectacular debut in boxing with a combination of unquestionable charisma and knockout power. His rise was swift, as he won world titles in several weight classes and gained support from Mayweather's promotional empire. For a while, Davis appeared ready to take up Mayweather's position as the next big thing in the sport. However, as his fame grew, so did the complexity of his relationships and career decisions, which ultimately caused him to separate from Mayweather Promotions and develop a breach with Broner, who used to view him as a younger brother. A key figure in Davis's early career was Broner, a former multi-division champion himself. Through friendship and mentoring that extended beyond the ropes, they developed a close bond. Broner frequently reflected on their inseparability, remembering times when it was impossible to recognize one without the other. When he saw that his own finances were limited, he brought Davis into the spotlight by introducing him to Mayweather. In an interview, Broner acknowledged, "I didn't have everything," after considering his choice to turn Davis over to Mayweather's team. "I gave him to Floyd." It appeared to be the proper decision at the time since Davis flourished under Mayweather's tutelage, amassing victories and establishing himself as a pay-per-view attraction. Even though he stepped aside, Broner was proud of his involvement and insisted that he would stand behind Davis regardless of who promoted him. But fissures appeared. Broner could feel Davis's dissatisfaction with him, which weakened their formerly intimate bond. "He feel like I let him down," Broner admitted, recognizing that Davis held him in high regard and had higher expectations. As Davis shifted further in favor of Mayweather's influence, the tension increased and Broner felt marginalized. Broner responded with a mixture of apathy and well-wishes when Davis finally left Mayweather Promotions to pursue his own goals. "I don't care. All I want is for him to do well." Although Broner left it up to Davis to tell the whole tale if he ever felt like it, there was a sense of unresolved tension beneath the surface, a sense that something had gone awry. Mayweather and Davis, however, had a different dynamic. He raised Davis's profile as a mentor, but there were also tense moments in their relationship. According to reports, Mayweather was not afraid to openly criticize Davis's performances, which might have contributed to Davis's desire for autonomy. Mayweather maintained his composure following the breakup, complimenting Davis's skill and tenacity while dismissing their split as a normal progression. Mayweather remarked, "He's been through a lot," following the fight with Roach. "I give him my hat off. I'm pleased with him." However, the decision left Davis alone to navigate his career, which now faced its greatest challenge to date. Lamont Roach Jr., a tough fighter from the DMV region whose performance in their December fight rocked the boxing world, was the opponent for that test. The bout, which pitted Baltimore against D.C. in a heated environment, was a back-and-forth contest that highlighted Roach's methodical movement and unrelenting pressure. Despite his reputation for powerful knockouts, Davis was unable to settle into a rhythm against Roach's methodical style. A turning point came in the 9th round when Davis took a knee in response to a shot from Roach, claiming that the oil in his hair had irritated his eyes. A knee usually indicates a knockdown in boxing, but the referee chose not to call it, therefore Davis was able to continue without being penalized. The decision caused immediate uproar and stunned spectators. Roach Jr. couldn't believe it. After the bout, he remarked, "He was never bothering his eyes before I jabbed him," referring to the fact that Davis only wiped his eyes after being punched. He rejected the grease justification as weak, claiming that athletes cannot just stop a battle because they are uncomfortable, whether it is from perspiration, blood, or anything else. Roach argued that you couldn't be like, "Time out, hold on." The referee's indulgence continued when he permitted Davis to seek help from his corner, another infraction that stoked claims of partiality. It was a harsh pill for Roach and his team because many thought he had done enough to win, but the scorecards showed a draw. The boxing world exploded. According to analysis of the bout by experts like Charlemagne the God and Andrew Schultz, Roach would have won with a correct knockdown call. Schultz said, "If they call this knee a knockdown, which they should have, he wins that fight," hailing Roach's self-assurance and defensive skills. Charlemagne concurred, observing how Roach took in Davis's tremors and continued to move forward unfazed. Online, fans expressed similar opinions, with some accusing Davis's team or the officiating authority of rigging the bout. Debates over scoring biases were rekindled by the issue, with some speculating that the judges may have been influenced by Davis's marketability as a pay-per-view star. The draw was an uncommon blot on Davis's otherwise excellent record. Highlight reel knockouts against opponents like Leo Santa Cruz and Mario Barrios had paved the way for his career, but doubters had long questioned the quality of his opponents. One pundit said, "He's never fought a B-level guy, let alone an A-level guy," citing Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and Vasily Lomachenko as the real elite Davis had not yet faced. Those worries were only heightened by the Roach bout. Roach, who faced a more difficult opponent, revealed weaknesses whereas Davis won knockouts against weaker opponents. Without the knockout blow, he risked falling behind on the cards against opponents who were more resilient and keen, and he took more clean shots than usual. Broner also added his voice, implying deeper problems without giving away specifics. "Recent events have sparked controversy," he remarked, implying that the outcome of the Roach fight was questionable. He made it apparent that he believed Roach had been robbed, but he refrained from making any accusations. Ever the businessman, Mayweather used a different strategy, presenting the dispute as an opportunity for Davis to establish his worth. Regarding the draw, he declared, "The best man won," but his remarks regarding Davis's youth and previous impatience suggested that he still felt his former protege needed to mature. A rematch has gained attention as a result of the aftermath. According to boxing expert Greg Hackett, Roach would be driven to secure a resounding victory, whereas Davis could be hesitant, apprehensive about enduring another exhausting 12 rounds. "Tank knows he can't go another 12 like that," Hackett stated, foreseeing Roach would have a psychological advantage. Given the tense conclusion of the first fight, some people believe that a draw would once again be the best course of action. However, the location of the fight is also important. Roach's side wants it to return to the East Coast since they are concerned about Vegas's reputation for producing biased results. There are not many possibilities for Davis after Roach. Other possible opponents like Shakur Stevenson are embroiled in promotional issues, and negotiations with Lomachenko broke down in 2024. Despite being a setback, the Roach draw has ironically created opportunities for Davis to quiet detractors and recover his story. A rematch might prove that he's more than just a knockout artist savoring C-level skill, or it might prove that the skeptics were correct all along. In contrast, Roach became a revelation. Davis was agitated and kept off balance by his game plan, which included inside work, crisp left hooks, and precise footwork. One onlooker observed, "He never lunged in. He edged forward, stayed composed." Roach didn't fade as anticipated even as the rounds went on. He landed enough to build a case while rolling with Davis's counterattack. His dissatisfaction that the scorecards didn't accurately reflect his efforts is reflected in larger discussions regarding how boxing judges' perceptions might be influenced by notoriety. The Davis-Roach storyline perfectly captures the unpredictable nature and appeal of the sport. It's a story about rising fame, strained relationships, and the never-ending pursuit of legitimacy. In an unfinished story, Mayweather's delight in his protégé's perseverance, Broner's grief at losing his little brother, and Roach's defiance in the face of adversity all come together. One thing is certain as the boxing community awaits the next chapter. Tank Davis is at a turning point in his career, with both his legacy and the truth about his ceiling on the line.